And we have heard yesterday a radio interview. It was Cecilia Uddén who interviewed you in Cairo. And she introduced you as the queen of feminism in Egypt.
The queen of what?
Feminism. And as your women like feminism and feminists, we found this was a very good expression. And that's why you are here today. We are going to do this like a small talk, not a speech. Nawal didn't want to have a speech, but I'm sure that you will have small speeches about this and that. And we know you as an activist and a very, very brave woman. But I think that many of us want to know a little about the beginning, your childhood, and why you became an activist. Could you please tell us?
Became what?
An activist. Activist.
Activist?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my mother tongue is Arabic, so my English is not. And also the Swedish accent. So, you want me to speak about the beginning?
Yes, the beginning.
Childhood. Okay. Well. I was born in Egypt, in a village, poor village, very poor village, from a peasant family. My grandmother, the mother of my father, she was a peasant working in the field with her hands. And she was a very, very independent woman. And she was very lucky, because her husband died very soon when she was very young. So she became independent when she was very young, and she had plenty of time to work for her son. She had one son, that's my father, and 6 daughters. And she was working. Of course, she had great ambitions. She had great dreams. And she was fed up with poverty and with hard work. And boys in my village used to die young because of a very common disease in the village called bilharziosis. So all peasants in Egypt used to have bilharziosis and to die very young. So she said, my son, she told me, I was 5 years when she was telling me her life. She told me, usually she called me the daughter of my son, Ya bint ibni, the daughter of my son. She told me, I decided that my son will never die of bilharziosis and will never die young, and he will live and be a great man, great educated man, and marry Bint al-Basha, that he will marry the daughter of the Basha, the big great man. And she did that. She economized, she starved, she, in fact, deprived herself of food in order to accumulate money. And she sent my son to Cairo from the village to study. And her son, of course, studied very hard because he saw his mother is working hard. So he studied very hard, and he was the top of school. And he entered, he had many, many high certificates. He got scholarships, etc., etc. And then he married my mother, who came from an upper middle class, Bint al-Basha, Bint al-Bayn. So I was brought up between 2 classes. The very poor peasant class of my father and the bourgeois class of my mother. And I was very much linked. I loved the family of my father more, because they were hardworking, very genuine. The other family was, you know, bourgeois, you know, they snobbish. And they looked down to us, that we are the sons and daughters of the peasants. My uncles used to despise us. The brother of my mother, he used to look down to me and say, you are the daughter of the peasants. So I started to be class conscious when I was young. This helped me. And also my grandmother, she never read the Quran. She was illiterate. And she used to go to the mayor, rebelling against the mayor and against the British colonizers and against the king. And she used to go with all the men in the village. She was the leader of the village. And I remember she took me with her. I was 5 years of age. She took me and she was standing. She was tall and strong. And she had no shoe, standing in front of the mayor. And the mayor was carrying the Quran in his hand like that. And she told him, you are taking our sweat and sending our cotton to King Farouk and to the British outside. And this is not just. God will never forgive you. So he told her, do you know God? You don't know God. You never read the Quran. You don't know anything. You are ignorant. You are illiterate. Don't speak about God. So she was very angry and told him, no, I know God more than you. Because God is not a book. You know, a peasant, a woman peasant, to stand in front of the mayor and to tell him, God is not this Quran. God is justice. And we know him by our mind. بالعربي قالت له ربنا هو العدل الفو العدل. So I was 5 years. So this was the first lesson in my life, in philosophy, in religion, in Islam, in justice. It really affected me.
Yes, that's interesting.